for now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Diane and Lisa Live. Sorry we're late, but we were doing camera adjustments because Diane's head is very big in her frame. Mine is smaller. And what we've determined after all of our conversation and testing and everything else is that we have no earthly idea why, so we've decided not to care because we were much more excited to be here with you. And we're thrilled that you could join us tonight. And I'm just looking at so many people that came out. And as I said when I put up the little promo thing, and there's a story in that as well, Diane and I have not had the opportunity to dish and talk about all the things that are happening and coming up and check in with all of you and see what you might like to hear about in so long that we decided we were going to have a brainstorming session, invite some of our closest friends to come join us, and here you all are. So good evening, everybody. Diane?
Hello, everybody. Actually, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up, Lise. That's all I keep thinking about. I'm like, my head was so big. I don't know. Anyway, in more ways than one.
It's because you are filled with such incredible knowledge in that head of yours, and
or I don't know how to run my webcam. I don't know.
We are in the summertime, and you know we've got so much going on. Diane and I both do, and we want to make sure that everybody knows about the stuff that's going on. And sometimes our intent to get the information out is not as quick as it can be. So before we go off on tangents, we have all the exciting conversations we're going to have. I want to make sure that everybody that's watching has taken the opportunity to sign up for your mentorship letters, because I know that was closed for a while, and I was there on the first day. It's one of the benefits of talking to her all the time. But Diane, that is such a fascinating community and project you've got going on there. Can you kind of tell everybody what it is and why you decided, with everything you've got going on, to stop and mentor mentor the entire direct selling world with such incredible information?
Well, thanks. First of all, before we really start, I just want to make sure, because I know you invited some people here and I invited some people here. So just in case anybody hasn't met me before, my name is Diane Hochman.
Well, this is what happens when you have me host. I'm sorry.
Because I want to introduce you, because I might have invited somebody that hasn't met you yet. We just assume everybody knows us. So, I
don't assume everybody knows me, but I have to tell you, Diane Hochman. For those of you that do know me, you know I'm a techno idiot, and for those of you that don't, by the end of this evening I'll have demonstrated it at least 1 or 2 times and you'll know it as well. But although I was never really aware of what was going on in internet land, the one person that I really was aware of was Diane Hochman. I mean, I just loved her stuff, and I found her, and about 2 years ago, actually, this month, 2 years ago, August, I had the good fortune. I was at an event. Eric Worre asked me to come out to an event, and I saw her there, live and in person, the Diane Hochman. So naturally, I went up and introduced myself. And over the past 2 years, I mean, if you know Diane, you know that she can do anything, and that can be really frustrating, but she's so lovable, wonderful, and giving that I forgive her the fact that she can do anything. So that's one of the things you have to accept. You're working with Diane. You name it, she can do it, or she'll figure out a way how to do it. Doesn't know the meaning of can't be done, and sort of inspires all those around her, if they allow her to do the same thing. But anyway, I met her. I was so excited. She had no earthly idea who I was, but I knew who she was from her videos, from her fame, and started to realize that maybe, you know, all the people in internet land were just crazy as I thought they were, because here she was saying. And at that event, I met like 3 other people that were like so normal. And I guess what I realized back then, Diane, is that I was just scared to death of it. So it was easier to think that it was crazy people than to think that there was a party going on that I just couldn't figure out how to print out a ticket to, you know, with the computer. But for those of you that don't know her, this is Diane Hochman. I assume, as you said, that everybody would know us both. And Diane does it all. And most recently, about 2 weeks ago, she told me she was working on something, a secret project. I had no idea what it was, and she would have told me, I'm sure, but she was like buried for 2 days. It went from I never heard of it, buried for 2 days where you couldn't reach her, and the next thing that was launched upon a pilot group was the mentorship letters. And if you don't know what those are or what those can mean for your business, she's going to tell you now.
And let me fill you in on those, and then I'm going to tell you a story about Lisa to make sure all of you that I might have invited, if you haven't gotten to meet Lisa, although I doubt anybody hasn't, because she gets around, this girl gets around. But you know, Lisa, I love marketing, and you know I love marketing. I'm a marketing freak. But more than anything, I love the power of the mind. And if I could do that all day long, if it was all I ever did is talk about how to use your mind to project yourself into more success, it's really my passion. That's what I would do. So recently, I don't know what it was, all of a sudden I decided that I wanted to put together a series, and I called it the Mentorship Letters. I'm planning on this being a legacy series. I intend to write hundreds, I do mean hundreds, of letters that can be passed down and shared, you know, across the industry to anybody that it might help. It's not for everybody, but for many of you, I think these letters might be very helpful. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, I like to sneeze on camera. It's very attractive, isn't it? There she
Well,
goes.
nobody does it like you. I have to say, folks, get out your notebooks, because the first thing you learn tonight as a bonus is how to sneeze on camera from an expert.
Wait, we're gonna not sneeze on camera for a second. We're gonna let you hear me. But so this is a passion project. I think we all should. You know, Jim Rohn said that, you know, first you learn to make enough to take care of yourself, and then you learn enough to take care of two. Earn enough, and then you go on and you earn enough, and then you get to a certain point where you want to leave something behind, and this is my body of work. So for those of you, I'll put it in the chat, if any of you have not gotten access to it yet. It was really exciting because the first day I think we had like 400 some odd people jump on. And Lisa, what was interesting is the first letter got delivered to 400 people.
How many times was it open, Diane?
I'm sorry?
How many times was it open?
Right now, over 3,200 times.
Which means people are reading it over and over again. I know that I have. And I think the reason that I did, and I think the reason so many people will, you know, for those of you that are watching, we kind of jumped right in here, and I should apologize for that, except that I told you when I wrote that this was, you know, you were getting a bird's eye view, fly on the wall view of what happens when Diane and I get together. We tend to finish each other's sentences and sometimes forget that, you know, what we say could be a foreign language to others. But I started with her mentorship letters because so many people, the wisdom letters.
Oh, no, what? I typed the wrong thing. Lisa, I'm so verklempt. For those of you who don't know, I had something come up tonight. I was running around with the kids. It's the mentorship letters. I don't even know what I'm typing. No wonder why it's not coming up. Oh, don't mind me.
I have that domain too, though, before one of our secret friends here does, because it's strong as well. So
well,
anyway,
you know, my computer's locking up here. That's my problem. If anybody else can type in the chat, those of you that know about the letters.
I'm demonstrating how quick I'm not. Just be patient.
There you go. Let's see if it'll go. There we go. There you go. Now we have a link. The mentorship letters.
I'm on a lot of Hangouts for a lot of different people. I know Diana is as well. And obviously, when I get involved in anything that's away from network marketing, traditionally, my Hangouts become very much about how we think. And that's where Diane and I connect a lot. And there's two reasons for that. One is that I think how we think is more important almost than what we do. Because if we change our thinking, if you know why you're doing something, you'll always figure out a way to do it. May not be the most efficient way, may not be the best way, but you'll come up with something that will get the job done. And the other reason, of course, is I don't have any tactile skills that I could demonstrate on a Hangout or webinar when we get away from traditional things. So it's good to focus on what you can do versus bringing you all here to show you. On the other hand, if there's ever a need for comedy, or if everybody needs comic relief, we could do a webinar and I could teach you everything I know about the internet, starting with spelling it and, ending with how to post a picture on Facebook, and we'd have a 3-minute webinar, but wouldn't it be fun?
But Lisa, I have to tell tales about you then, because if this is true, guys, when I met Lisa, she's right. And here's the power of the internet and branding. Lisa knew exactly who I was and knew all about me because she had watched my videos. I, on the other hand, had no clue who this lady was that was talking about her daughters and chicken and matzo ball soup. Okay, and she's going and blowing, and I'm like, who is this chick? Come to find out, she has a global business. She has had, organizations of, I don't know how many people. I don't like to throw it all up, but let's put it this way. Lisa has not only... Over a million. So there you go. She has not only succeeded in this industry, you know, in network marketing here in the States, she's done it globally. I mean, she's leaving next week for Norway. The next thing you know, she's in Hong Kong. She's in Bangkok. I might be going to Bangkok. I'm excited. So she's all over the globe building organizations and working with and mentoring and helping other people that are doing the same. This chick has it going on. And here's the irony of Lisa Grossman. Lisa Grossman may not know how to do anything other than upload a picture on Facebook, but Lisa Grossman knows everybody, and everybody loves her. Everybody who knows how to do everything under the sun loves her dearly because she's done so much for them. So she may not know how to do it, but she sure knows how to get it done. And in the end, isn't that what really matters? Getting it done.
You know, and actually, because we brought up the mentorship letters and because we got on this tack, I think it's a good place to start because wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you know, you could be tuning in and be as much of a techno idiot as me, which means that if it's first time watching a hangout, oh no, this technology takes you right there. When they're open on YouTube, you know, my first hangout I was 35 minutes late for because I couldn't find the house. I was like the person on the internet driving and couldn't find the address of where they were going. But no matter what you're doing, if you're in direct selling or you consider yourself to be an internet marketer or you consider yourself to be a traditional network marketer or you're home-based and you're a home-based realtor and you do other things on the side. Don't know how you would have gotten on this list here, everything Diane and I know about real estate, but you could have. How you think and how you approach your business and what you believe about the inputs and the information that you see in a given day will ultimately dictate your success. And what I've noticed, and you can go out and try to prove me wrong on this, and Diane, I want your feedback. I've met successful people from every genre in life, from every kind of industry, some that were eminently interesting and fun and doing things I admired, and some of them that were absolute crashing bores, and I didn't understand how they could have possibly picked that for a career. But nonetheless, when it came to how they think and the way that they approach life and life's challenges, they almost, uniformly think a certain way. Wouldn't you agree, Diane?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, so that's kind of what I spend most of my time doing, and I find it humorous. Diane and I laugh about this all the time. She can teach people how to do a lot of things. And actually, so can I. I can't teach people how to make a capture page, and I can't make a capture page. And,
well, not that you can't.
I have a disappointment about that next week. We won't get into the woe is me over the capture page. And God knows I won't start with AWeber because that would just put me on a crime jack.
Wait, what is AWeber? AWeber's what?
AWeber is a suave talking wife beater.
Remember the first time I heard you say that.
With how great life is going to be once you get inside, and then he tortures you every day. No matter how hard you try to please him, you just can't. And I divorced myself from the AWeber scenario after 30 days because it was AWeber 30 days, Lisa 0. And I believe that you should really stick with things until A, you make them work, or B, you decide they're not for you. And 30 days of AWeber, I was firmly convinced and very comfortable with the fact that he was not the man for me in an autoresponding kind of way. Haven't found my match yet, but I'm looking.
Oh,
I have faith
that someday, some way, my autoresponder on a white horse will arrive.
No, he will. And then I'll be sending you all letters. Thank goodness I figured.
Which is exactly why we're behind on telling you what's going on, because Lisa doesn't know how to send a letter to a list. But she does have a Facebook page. And I want to make sure you guys, we're going to do another
fan page on a dare.
Likes for Lisa telethon.
Likes for Lisa telethon. So anyway, we can't teach you how to do a lot of things, but here's what happens with a lot of people, and I know it isn't this crowd because you're either here because I invited you or Diane invited you, so you are at least familiar with, or your friends have told you about, or you wanted to see if we really were as crazy as everybody says we are, as charged. So, but here I want to show you something in a way that you might not think of it. I want to give you a different twist on this for those of you that are watching that are caught up in information. Now, depending where you are in your journey, and we've all been here, and we all go through it, you are either thinking that somebody has to show you how to do this or how to do that or how to do this or how to do that all day long. Or in the alternative, people are calling you with how do you do this and how do you do that, and I have to make this work and I have to make that work. And you know, me and AWeber for 30 days. Today I'd have given up after 3, but nonetheless. And here's a thought for you, because it's not about information, and everybody seems to think it's about information, Diane. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, it's every class I've ever taught. Everybody thinks it's about information. Absolutely.
You know, it's about how do I do this and how do I do that. And what I want you to think about is this. It really isn't about the information, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it. Diane, I'm about 5 years older than you, but I know that this was your era. When I was growing up, I drove people crazy with my questions. I wanted to know how to do everything or why everything was. And I heard a rumor, and I was told that if I was and then I found it wasn't a rumor, that if I was very good, I would be taken to a magical, mystical, incredible place. Let me tell you about this place that was told to me about, Diane. This was a place that you could go there, and all of the information on everything, all of the knowledge of the ages, from the very smartest people on every single topic, you know, starting with aardvarkery and going all the way down to zoology, was available, and it was there, and you could go there, and you could find out about physics from Sir Isaac Newton. You could find out about the theory of relativity from Albert Einstein. You could read about architecture from Frank Lloyd Wright, all of it, and you could go there for free. And you could read or watch or multimedia with this information. And not only that, they had this little card, and it was like a passport where they would let you take and borrow the information. You could take it home, and you could keep it and read it again, and then take it back. And lo and behold, it really existed. And about the time that I was 7 years old, I was actually taken to the library. And you know what's so odd about the fact that all of this information was available? Only 3% of the people had a library card. Can you imagine that? 3%. Now, flash forward, because that's when I'm 7 and I'm librarying all the way up till I'm about, and all of a sudden, I hear another rumor. There's this incredible thing being developed called Gopher. And they say that when they were linked up around the world, that without leaving home, simply by dialing up your phone and taking the handle and putting it into a squawk box, you were going to be able to get access in your very own home to all of the information on everything you could ever want to know from the very greatest minds in the, in the world, including those in network marketing, not internet marketing yet because we weren't there, but all there. And lo and behold, Gopher comes around, and you guys might know it by its more common name, which is the World Wide Web. And when that happens, now all this information is available. You don't have to leave home. You don't have to trudge the 3 blocks in the ice and snow to go to the library, because I know why the 97% didn't get their cards. And it's all available to you. Years later, a couple of guys at Stanford, come up with this thing called Google. And now you don't even have to, now you could just type in, I want to learn about internet marketing from Diane Hochman. And the next thing you know, on your screen will pop up all things Diane Hochman. You may never meet her. You may never go where she is, but all of her knowledge, all of her information for free is there, along with all the other great minds in this and every other space. And I understand that, for a lot of people, going all the way to the wall where the computer was and doing that made it difficult. Today, anywhere you are in the world with one of these, you can access that same information, and you can get a program that reads it to you.
Yep.
You don't even have to read it anymore. And you know what? Everybody still wants to know, how do I do this, and how do I do this, and how do I do this? How do I do this? Trust me when I tell you, knowing how to do something is important if it's in service to something you want to do. If people that know how always end up working for those that know why. And people that...
Stop! Say that again.
People that know how always end up working for people that know why. And people that are entrepreneurial, they start out with why, and they'll go figure out a way how to do it when it's just them. But you know why they never have the best methodology and the best process? Because very soon, because they know why, they are able to free up enough capital to spend all their time on that and hire somebody else who can worry about the process, and it goes full circle. So those who know how work for someone who knows why. Those who know why start out doing it all and end up hiring one of those how people. So starting off with that, because you've got Diane and I, two people that would rather, that if we had to choose, we would help people improve their critical thinking skills over everything else.
Yep. Here
tonight. And we started off talking about them. And by the way, the mentorship letters, that's what it is. That's mentorship. Coaching is wonderful, but mentorship is really what gets people through, because some of my greatest mentors I've never met. I think Eleanor Roosevelt is a mentor. I read one of her quotes every single day. So here we are, and I want to tell you about that. And we've got some other exciting things coming up. My schedule, where I'm going to be, things Diane and I are talking about putting together. You didn't realize this, but you are the focus group. That's why there was no big promotion for tonight, and there was no big email blast that went out, because we're going to get input from you and let you kind of tell us what you want, and you showed up, so you get to, and we're then going to let you kind of direct, so what you want to hear. But I wanted to let you know about the mentorship letters. You need to be subscribed to that, and my good friend Diane. How much can I say?
I think that you can invite people to come find out. So you can say some, but not too much.
Okay. Next Wednesday night, there is an event that is going to premiere around my dear friend over here talking about what she's going to be doing next for the smart, forward-thinking, want to take control of their lives kind of people that want to capitalize on that. And you can find out about it first. You can know about it first. And anybody who says that finding out about information early isn't important is one of those people that never gets on the list to find out about the information early, I always say. So next Thursday, if you weren't there, if you forget to register, if you're hearing about it from somebody else, you can't say that you didn't know. So Diane just put it up. So you're going to want to go ahead and register that. And I'm not going to tell you anything else, because she said that I couldn't. But if you email me later, I might when she's not looking. But I will say this.
Well, no, I think, can they email you or Facebook you? Because I think they need to like you so that they can communicate.
I will say this. I will say that if you've ever taken a course from Diane, and they're all outstanding, sold out, people raving all over the space, she told me that this is the stuff that she's been waiting to teach, wanting to teach, the advanced stuff, the stuff that's really high level, the stuff that gets people where they want to go, and that she finally decided that now was the time, and that's what she's going to be talking about next Wednesday. I didn't say too much today.
No, I think you said exactly what is accurate. More than ever, I've been waiting, Lisa. I've been wanting for the right time, the right place, the right people to impart this information into. The mentorship letters are absolutely 100% free and available to the public. I hope you guys share it. I hope you come down Wednesday night to hear about some of the other things that are going on. And, I'm pretty excited about all of this. It's just a new stage and new information coming out for everybody, so I'm excited. But I'm excited about some of the other things we have cooking, and I'm also excited to hear what's up with the gang, everybody here.
Now, Diane, I don't know if Minna was the first person registered, but she's the first person that told us that she was. So, Minna, don't know when, don't know where, but somewhere in your life something special is going to happen for you. Now then, I'm my first Techno-Idiot moment live. It says that a hand is raised. I'm smart enough to know that I'm not actually going to see a hand pop up here, but we're in this whatchamajogger. Do I find out what that means and what I'm supposed to do about it?
Truthfully, Lisa, I don't know, because usually they raise their hand if you're trying to find them. So that I just turned on the Q&A as opposed to the chat. The chat is great, and keep on chatting. But guys, if you have a question for Lisa or myself, and I wrote today, and I hate to say it aloud, but I will. Between the two of us, we have over 40 years worth of experience in this industry. So isn't that disgusting when you think about it? How did that happen?
Seriously, we are just getting to the point. Here's the thing I'll say. I won't say I'm great. I'm saying, but if you're afraid of making a mistake or have made a mistake and don't know how to recover from it, I'm sure I've made it by now. So ask away.
Yeah. And then we might leak, you know what, we'll take a little Q&A and some stuff from you guys. And then we have some other, you know, exciting things coming up that we might be able to hint a little bit at. They're kind of in the works, which is exciting. Lisa, while we're waiting for everybody to write in some things in the Q&A and things that they want to talk about, so you're leaving. You're traveling. Tell everybody your travel schedule for the rest of the year.
This is kind of fun. And by the way, just to reiterate what Diane said, I'm not promising we'll answer it and make them high level, but if you had Diane and Lisa for the next hour, and I'd stay all night, but I've actually got to do another hangout at 9, but this is only, at 10. This is only the first of many. If you could get us to muse or brainstorm or speak on or answer anything, what would it be? Because I'm kind of interested to see what this is. So go ahead and you put that in there. And in the meantime, let me tell you what my travel schedule looks like. Diane, I was supposed to be in Vegas today, as you know.
Yes.
Today I was supposed to go to Vegas because Eric Worre, very dear friend, is having one of his breakthroughs, and Robert Hollis is there. And both my partner and I have participated in Eric's intensives and his breakthroughs to help coach and do whatever we can do or provide comic relief or an example of, if you stick at this long enough, maybe you can laugh like her. And then we were going to film a product that we're doing, on how to be instantly profitable in home-based business with an emphasis on network marketing. A very inexpensive product. But so much is going on because of our travel schedule and because we have to film for another project we're all working on tomorrow. Curtis and I are filming tomorrow, and Diane will be filming in early September, and there is something coming out that is my life's work. It's probably my calling that we're all sort of going to be part of. Not an opportunity, though, folks, so don't get excited about that. Better than an opportunity.
Yes, I
so
agree.
I leave for Scandinavia on Tuesday, and I'm starting in Norway, and I will be in Norway, Estonia, Helsinki, Stockholm, Amsterdam, and Copenhagen. And I'll be over there for 4.5 weeks. Culminating in the middle of that trip, we're doing a big event for a couple thousand people for a company. Eric and Marina Warrior are coming over, and we're doing that the weekend of September 5th. So that's going to be running around there. Now, when I get back on the 16th, I will be leaving 5 days later to go to Hawaii to work with a great group of leaders in a company that is just blowing the socks off the industry. And the day I get back from that, either the next day or that night, I will either be leaving with Diane. Will probably already be down there. I will be going to MLSP where I'm going to be speaking. I'm excited about that. Let's not tell them how much of a techno idiot I am until that's over.
I know, because she's coming to teach at the Internet Marketing event. But then again, you just taught at the other Internet Marketing event. You're all over.
How to create traffic at your store by handing out free burritos. And then I go to Ankara, Turkey, which is about the second biggest city after Istanbul, to a week-long high-level training event for the top leadership in a European company. Some fancy ritzy hotel where we're going to be the speakers and the whatever we're going to be. And then when I get back from that, I'll be home for 2 days, and I will go to Hong Kong, to Asia, where I will be in Hong Kong, China, Phnom Penh, Cambodia, Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, Vietnam, Bangkok, Thailand, and I think that's all of them. Working with both the company where we have our business, but it's pretty passive. We go in and do. We haven't been there in a year to do events, and also on a couple of other exciting projects, and some of them that are going to take Diane and I around the world. A little bit in 2015, but in 2016, you can bet that the roadshow of whatever we're doing is coming to a city near you.
Yep.
So that's kind of my schedule. Oh, and then I get back from that, and then we go to Eric Worre's event, Network Marketing Pro event, which is running from November 20th to the 23rd in Las Vegas. Diane and I will both be there. If you are in network marketing and you're not registered for that event, you definitively want to be there. There's going to be like 8,000 people. And then November 18th and 19th, there's actually a 6-figure summit for people that are at the 6-figure range. And then we have Thanksgiving. And then I'm back to Asia the 3rd week in December, and maybe London the 1st week in December with you. So that's me till the end of the year. Does that sound like fun? Who wants my life?
Is that not?
I have known.
It's incredible. It's absolutely. So when I told you that she's global and teaches and trains and mentors and has organizations all over the world, I was not exaggerating. I think you didn't. Do you do anything in South America, Lisa, or not really? Just
Actually,
mostly.
I'm working right now on something, a project that I'm working on behind the scenes to help put together in Peru. And should that come to fruition, we will be in Peru and certainly probably in Brazil as well.
Yeah.
But you know, Mexico, I've spoken to Mexico a few times, but really, I've been to South America like twice in my lifetime, but never to a network marketing event. No, I come to think of it.
Cool.
Wow.
It's
Not
pretty
cool. I need to go do something in South America.
I'm just
South
thinking,
America,
I
I'm
haven't
coming.
heard you talk about that. Peru would be. Remember, I am your translator, so when you need.
I mean, we're going to do amazing things together. So let's see what kinds of exciting questions.
Yes.
Well, Jeremy, I love you too. You wrote me a phone call for 2 months, so my love is stretched, but knows no limits.
Oh, Jeremy.
Oh, I like that question, Cher. Hi, oh, you have to meet Cher Bertland. She's amazing, Diane.
Oh, I know Cher. I know Cher.
Oh, I didn't know you knew Cher.
Of course I know Cher. How could I not know somebody?
You know everybody before I do.
I think, I don't know, we'll have a contest to see who's known who longer. It's funny because we're all intermingled. It's awesome.
Was there a moment when you felt it all clicked? Do you feel how did it change your focus? I had a moment that was almost exactly the opposite. I think we should talk about that one. I'm going to come back to some of the others, but that one resonates with me, Suzanne, because I have had many aha moments in my lifetime in my career. Many, many, many. But the question you're asking, I think, is did you have a moment where it all clicked and how did it change your focus? Yes, but not in the way that you think. And Diane, tell me if you had a moment like this in internet land. When I got started in network marketing, and Diane did this as well, so she'll know what I mean, and for a lot of you watching, you look at the people on the stage and you want to be like them. And I envisioned that it was some sort of a secret society, because all these leaders that knew how to do whatever it was they did that got them there. And so I started building and building and building and making mistakes and rebuilding and making mistakes and rebuilding, and had done a few meetings here and there. And lo and behold, 2 years goes by, and I get the phone call. And the phone call is that they want me to do the meeting, the big meeting. The meeting I've been going to for 2 years, the 600 people come to the room and meeting. And I'm like, okay, all right, good, fine, all right. So I spent 2 days trying on because back in those days, it was the professional thing when you got on stage.
The suit.
Trying on every suit that I had. I ended up wearing a very hot pink suit, but it was very tailored professionally. The color was just off the charts. And just, because I'm just not a blue suit kind of girl. But anyway, so I'm waiting, and I'm picking out my stuff, and I'm practicing, drawing on the board, and boards are falling over, because I want to be ready when the day comes, and I'm waiting for my phone call. Because I know that any day before I get there, they're going to call and tell me all the secrets. Because, I've never been on the stage, and here I'm going to go, and you don't just, walk up, and suddenly you're ready to do this. Someone, tells you all the secret information. And the call never came. And then, I got there, and I was to do the meeting, and I'm like, well, when are they going to, somebody is supposed to take me for the initiation to learn all the secrets to join the secret society of successful networkers or whatever it was. And still, no phone call came. And I went up on stage, and I did this meeting, and for those of you that have never done your first big meeting, let me share with you that the good news that came out of mine was I was so horrific. I did everything except fall off the stage, that I was never afraid to go on stage again, because I knew that no matter what I did the next time, it could only get better. That's how terrible I was. The audience at the end wasn't booing, they were clapping because they were rooting for me to get through without dying. You can do it, girl. I forgot everything. You're supposed to say a world-class management team and cutting-edge products. I talked about the cutting-edge management team. Nobody ever knew what that meant. It was just wild and crazy. And my aha moment was that it's all an illusion. The people that are up on stages are just they're the people that you are that went on a stage. That's all. Is one day you're here and one day you're on a stage, and you are the same person. You've just been on a stage now. And getting on a stage is not about getting up and showing people how much you know or how good you are. It's being willing to get on the stage and let people see that you don't have all the answers and maybe you're not that good, but you're up there anyway. Willing to share what you know that in the hopes that you can help somebody. Now, I did a public service that night because you see, sometimes the speakers are very, very good and they're very, very eloquent, which was my aspiration. That was my intent. But then people in the audience will sit there and they'll go, oh, isn't it wonderful that in a business like this we can bring people to a meeting and we can get a speaker like that to do it for us? And then there are those that have a different performance and people can say, isn't it wonderful? If somebody like that can make money at this, anybody can. I was an example of the latter that night. I really was. But that was my aha moment. And the way that it changed my focus was to not worry about anything other than getting better every day and keeping my eye on the prize. And that's really when not to get caught up in nonsense, because it is all nonsense. Wherever you are and whoever you are in your life, when you reach different pinnacles, you've just added to your biography and you've done some things you hadn't done before, but you're just a little bit further down a particular road than other people. And that was my aha moment. And the way it changed my focus was to stop idolizing people and feeling that they were unapproachable, and to recognize that they were people that really would help if asked. I think from that moment on, I always went out and asked for help. And I've yet to have anybody, and no industry leader ever hang up on me or tell me they're too busy or not at least point me towards something or make a recommendation. And that was the aha moment. But the aha moment where I'm like, I get it now and I can go take over the world, that happens on projects, that happens all the time. But I never had that career-changing enlightenment where suddenly I felt that I was different than the person I've been. I feel like I'm different today than I was a week ago because something happened in the last week where I learned something, and I think that's always the way it is. Diane, what do you think?
Now, Lisa, what you just said, I think that people think that there's going to be a moment and the angels will sing, ah, and that doesn't really exist. I had a very similar experience to you. I had finally made leadership rank in my company, and they always used to talk about the meeting before the meeting and only the leaders, and it was behind closed doors, and it was this big freaking deal. And I remember the month I made it,
the other side of the door,
and I could go to the meeting. Well, this is what I found out was in the super secret, incredible leadership meeting, because I was absolutely sure that they were going to teach me the secrets of the universe in there. Everybody kind of stumbled in little by little with a cup of coffee. They were tired because it was 7:30 in the morning, and I was taught how to clap and how to set up chairs. That was the secret to leadership at our program. How to clap and how to set up chairs.
No, I'll tell you, there is a secret there, and I really want people to hear this because it shocked me. A couple of months ago, I was at a company. They were doing a big flying event, and when it was over and everybody was leaving, I was putting away chairs and vacuuming with all the guys that were there, and I had the company owners and all these people come up and tell me how special and how incredible and how wonderful I was, and it shocked me because, technology, everything changes, but certain things should never change, and I do believe that if you're a leader, you show up first, you set up chairs, you leave last, you put away chairs, whatever needs to be done, you do it because you do it to make it a better experience for everybody, because leaders lead. Everybody wants to know, what is leadership? Leaders lead. They go out and they lead from the front. And I see a question here that's kind of along those lines, when it says, how do I change the way that people perceive me? Mm-hmm. That's very simple. Change the way you perceive yourself.
Boom.
Figure out how to treat you and how to believe, and how to treat you, how to think of you, based on what you think, because that's the reflection. People are, people buy into us, but the secondary way to do that is become very interested in the people that you're talking to, because that's their favorite topic anyway. And the more interested you are in them, the more interesting, dynamic, and scintillating they perceive you to be. But if you want it, whatever it is, declare it to the universe, and then, like all things, break down a plan to get it. Everything can be reduced to a math problem or a recipe.
Yep.
And I think that if you know how to get up in the morning and say, gee, what do I want for dinner? I think I'll make this. I want to try something new. I think I'll make this. And you go to the internet and you find a recipe from a reputable, chef on the Food Network that says, if you do this, and 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 if you do this, you'll get this beautiful plate of, you know, linguine Alfredo with clams that you see in the picture. I think business is very much the same way. Make a decision as to what you want to do, and then go find somebody who's done it, who has a track record of having done it, that resonates with you, and then look at their little recipe that says do this and do this and do this and do this and do this, but do it all. Because until you know enough to know what you don't know, you never know what's going to happen. I can take a linguine with clam sauce recipe, Alfredo with clams, and not put the clams in. I'm pretty sure I'll end up with linguine Alfredo. But what if I took out the cheese? What would I end up with then? What if I skipped over the butter? What if I made a linguine Alfredo sauce with a thick penne noodle because I thought a noodle's a noodle, only to find out that the two of them marry each other horribly on a plate because the sauce sticks so much to the noodles that they get gummy and you don't have a sauce anymore? What if I did any one of those things? None of which would happen to me that people do every day if I just followed the recipe from the person who was teaching me, who obviously knew how to do it. Or in the alternative, if I would call them and say, but I want to make this, this, and this, they would say, once you perfected the linguine Alfredo, we're going to move on to the next thing. And I think that's what holds a lot of people back. And if you don't cook, and this was a horrible analogy for you, Diane will do one about baseball in a few minutes.
But we did it this afternoon, Lisa. I was teaching a particular group I was working with about copy and about writing letters, email letters, you know, because we do work a little bit on the internet, some of our gang. And I was explaining to them that I can't teach you the next step until you execute this one. When you submit your work, I can give you that gold nugget. I can give you the twist. I can give you the different angle to hit it from. But I can't. If you don't learn to make the fettuccine Alfredo, you can't learn to make the Fra Diavolo or whatever else you want to make. They're all derivatives, but you have to learn the foundation. And the foundation, and that's where mentorship comes in. Because if you were to call, Lisa mentioned earlier, she's never had somebody in the industry, you know, a leader, keyword, leader in the industry, not help her out or hang up on her, because they don't and they won't. But you have to come to the table having followed the recipe and then said, I followed the recipe, this is what it came out with, it's not right. They're always going to show you how to make it right. They always will. And that's what's really cool about our industry.
I want to answer this question of John's because I built my network marketing business entirely face-to-face. Actually, no. And even the first one, I did not really. I don't love one-on-ones. Now, I want to say that there is nothing wrong with one-on-ones. They work. They're effective. It's a good strategy. I don't love one-on-ones. But it's not about that. You see, the thing, people never know what. It's about the message, and it's about the theme, not about the technology or the particular method. I'm very auditory. So when I started out in the industry, I used to chase the business by phone, and I solidified it with personal appearance. But to me, I don't like running around and dragging people out for coffee. What if they weren't interested in it at all? I value people's time. I value my own. So I always had conversations on the phone and usually built my business that way. And then I would solidify it with meetings. You know, to me, it was never to go meet one person. That didn't seem like a good time ratio to me. So I'd work with somebody on the phone, and then they came up with conference calling so I could work with even more people on the phone, which enabled me to start going nationwide. So I built out of my markets very quickly. And so, of course, I couldn't be there face-to-face. But that was 25 years ago. Today, I chase the business by technology. I have huge groups in China and in Thailand, Vietnam, Israel, and I work with groups and companies all over the world. And really, it's the same question, I think, Diane. I never really realized this until you asked this question, John. It really wouldn't make sense for me to go to Hong Kong to have a meeting with somebody to see if they wanted to do the business.
No.
Right? No. Well, today, it's possible for me with a hangout or working through a relationship always, and you work through people, two people. I never sponsored as many people as I did work in depth and get a lot of people, help a lot of other people build a big team. So I would talk to that person in Hong Kong, and let's say they did the business, we're on a hangout. When they would get a group of people together, a core group of people, not signed up, because you might sign up 100 people to get a core group of 5 that are really seriously significant, but 100 that'll come to the meeting, then I would go. And if you backtrack 20 years ago, I did the same thing then.
Yeah.
I would talk to somebody in California, and when they got that core group together where we could put some meetings together and we could intensify it, I would go, because I don't think the secret to success is whether I liked audio. Some people like videos. I don't think the secret to success is the methodology and method in which you deliver the message, as long as the message is a correct one, because it's the message that has to be duplicated, and as long as you're using third party and don't make yourself the issue. But I think that people that are successful in business, they understand there are no shortcuts to success, but there are a multitude of ways you can compress time. And there is a difference between a shortcut and time compression. And if you think bigger and your scope of what you're trying to accomplish is bigger, it almost forces you to find ways to compress time and reach more people with the same block of time, like we're doing right now. You know, I'm having a ton of fun, and you're all here, and you can communicate directly with us, but it's Diane and I to, what, like 90-something people, 100-something people, and, you know, look at the we're compressing time, but we're not taking any shortcuts. Does that make sense, John?
And it's so important what you just said, the difference between, a lot of people are looking for the loophole, the shortcut, the way to beat the system. We've always looked for the leverage of the way to compress time. How can I talk to more people as a group? How can I train more people as a group? How can I communicate with people 24/7 via video or via replay? So compressed time is a big deal.
And I will tell you, I'm really guilty of this. I love Hangouts. I utilize them effectively, but I answer the same questions, and they're not dumb. They're good questions, but I answer the same questions because I'm so spread across the space. Probably in any given week, I'll answer the same question 20, 25 times.
Yep.
And I really should. I should go cut a video on it and say, oh, I've answered that for you. Go watch this video. I haven't done that because it's a new space for me. But those are the types of things that are really effective. But always remember, and I believe this is true even in internet marketing, if you're working with teams, I believe it's not what works, it's what duplicates. Because I just think that if you have a tribe of people that can all do schemes, they can simplify something so that other people can do it, you can end up with a huge group of people that are in a movement, on a mission, with a shared vision. And I think that if you don't and it works, you end up with like a really big, noisy crowd all yelling at each other.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was listening to Orrin Woodward, CD of his the other day. A lot of you guys know Orrin, a major leader in this industry for years, and then also he is a leadership expert. And he talked about on a team, if you were on a football team and everybody just went to the second, you know how you do that thing like hot, 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 and whatever, they pass the ball, and everybody just decided to run their own play. Everybody just picked one. They didn't coordinate it. It would be really quite a mess, wouldn't it? But as a team, each person has their own strengths, and one is a blocker, and one is a this, and one is a that. But everybody knows what the play is, and everybody runs the same play. And that's why when I'm teaching internet stuff, it's still with the same fundamental concept that Lisa's talking about, the duplication. That's why I keep it so simple. It's not that I can't make it more complicated for you guys. I can do that all day. I could do all kinds of fancy-dancy stuff. But if everybody can't understand and run the play, and if everybody's working on their own strength instead of all running down the field together, we can't win the game. So I thought that was a really good analogy.
Oh, Diane, and you know, it's so profound. And I really, you know what went through my head when you said it? I imagined an orchestra leader standing in the pit saying, okay, now 1, 2, 3, everybody
go!
Song. You know,
everybody just played whatever song they felt like. That would be kind of, this guy's an incredible flute player, and this guy's an incredible violin player, and this girl over here plays the cello. They're all magnificent. Nobody's trying to take away their magnificence, but we have to know what song we're playing. And sometimes we have to play a song that's not our favorite for the sake of the team. But then later we'll play your favorite song. That's okay, as long as we get around to all the songs, you know. Remember training, Lisa, when we would do large trainings? Which part of the big training did you like to do least? I bet you I know, because I know which one mine was.
Big training did I like to do least?
Like a network marketing Super Saturday type of training. Which segment did you like to do least?
I'm trying to think. product training for me.
Exactly, product. I never wanted to do product. I thought it was boring. I didn't want to go through what this product was and how you take it, and you take three of these on Tuesday, and when the moon is in the 7th house, and if you feel this, you should do that. I hated it. I wanted to do all the other cool stuff.
You and I were in all of these same meetings and we never met.
I know, right? But sometimes they said, Diane, we need you to do the product today. So of course I went and did. Lisa, did you do the product training when you had to?
Oh, I did. I was.
Right?
I mean, and for me, I'll tell you, for me, the product training was easy because I really came from the I tried it, I like it. I think if you try it, you like school, but it never really pleased the science people in the room. They're always like, "Didn't you read the brochures?" And I'm like, "Yes, I wanted to spare the audience."
Yeah. So it was, to me, it was just like, we're going through the slides. Here's our shake mix. Here's how you take it. And there was no punch to it. You really couldn't jazz up product.
Yeah. And that's the problem. How do you make products fun? Have you been to the doctor and he's ever given you a prescription? Did he suddenly break into song and dance about what you were thinking? There's just no one to do with that.
I came from a company that had 762,000 products, and they wanted us to go through over all of them in 20 minutes or whatever. Or sometimes they'd extend it, and you'd be like doing this for an hour. The audience is falling asleep. They're elbowing each other. So that was the part I hated. But I had to do that song because sometimes it was my turn to do that song, and I was part of the team.
And all I really wanted to hear, truthfully, was the stories.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna, just for grins, and I'm gonna let Diane answer your question in a minute. But I would say exactly what you would say if you were talking to somebody. Just put it in an email. I don't write well. I talk on paper pretty good though.
You're referring to Mina's question?
Yeah.
Mina, let me read the question aloud, guys. I won't mention the name of the program, but I just got a sign up who is only accessible by email. What would be the best thing to say to her to get her on my list so that she can get my emails? The best thing to say to her is, "Hi, Sally. In order to get all the information you need to do well, you need to go get on my list." There's no emotion to it. It's just matter of fact. If somebody said to you, "Where's the bathroom?" you'd go, "It's down the hall on the left." So we don't sit and kind of contemplate what's the best way to tell them to get to the bathroom. The best way to tell someone to jump on my list is to tell them to jump on my list. Same thing as if somebody said, about a meeting. The best way to tell them to get trained is to get to the meeting. So depending on what you're doing. So very matter of fact.
Okay. Any more? What if you could pick anything? What would you like us to talk about? Let's call this rapid fire. Diane and Lisa. McNuggets.
Ooh, I call it stump.
Question. Diane and I will play. I can answer that in less words than you.
Stump the Grossman. Come on, let's go. Stump the Hawkman.
Oh, you.
They are very quiet, a little bit quiet today. Let's see what we got.
Quiet group of people.
40 years of experience here. What would you like to know?
Well, everybody seems like they really are liking it. I'm reading good comments. We stun them with our brilliance.
Yes, is that what it is? The stun gun of brilliance.
Okay, Diane, then I will ask a question.
Ooh.
At what moment did you, because there's a method to this madness, at what moment did you feel that you had, when you started with your internet stuff,
mm-hmm.
And I know you started in conjunction with network marketing, okay, hello, this is the internet, I'm going to do something here. How long did it take you to be ready to put something out there? And what, how long did it take you to decide that you had met your level of whatever it was, or did you just kind of go?
Okay. I'm a little different than a lot of other people because I never thought about whether I was ready or whether what I was doing was good. I was busy thinking about the people that needed help and putting the help out there for them. So my first letters, my first capture page, none of them were very good, and yet they were all very successful because they, the old saying, they don't care what you say, they care about how you they want to know that you care, whatever that saying is, which I hate. But so people always responded because they could tell that my communication was authentic. So I didn't worry about whether I had a typo or whether it was bad. The same thing with videos. You guys can go to my YouTube channel and find my very first video from 2006 or 2007, whenever it is. And I say right in it, you know what, I'm worried that I don't look good, and I'm worried about all these things, but I'm more worried about not sharing this with you. So it was really that my focus was never on myself, and therefore I never had to worry about whether I was ready. It had to get done.
And the reason I asked that question was I have people tell me every day, oh, this company is different than that company, or are you an online person or an offline person, or an old school person or a new school person, or you were blue and the moon is blue or whatever. And here's the thing.
Hi, Curdy. I'm sorry. He didn't hear me.
Hey, Kurt.
He's in the background.
And here's the thing. To me, the cornerstone of all business, today more than ever, network marketing, certainly since the dawn of time, and home and person to person, which is entrepreneurial, because it's a person, not a brand. We all brand ourselves, but a different, there's actually a person, who it is, has always been exactly what Diane said. Be interested, not interesting. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are you interested in the other person, and can they feel it? I don't care if you're, doing a video or a one-on-one or on a conference call or writing a letter and somebody may never meet you. Do they feel that your purpose there is to put them first?
Yeah.
And to me, that's the foundation of everything else that follows, no matter what method of getting along you are. And that's where I was starting out with all the how-to questions. Because people always call me and they want to know, how can I write the perfect letter? And how can I have the perfect pitch? And how can I have the perfect this? And my first question is like, well, where are you going to find the perfect people to, where do these...
Do the perfect pitch to, right?
Where the perfect people live that need the perfect...
Have you found the perfect people? I'm looking for the perfect people.
If I see something that's really perfect, it intimidates me. I think the girls that go to be Miss America, I applaud it. I respect it. They have scholarships. I think it's wonderful. But I never looked at it and felt like, oh, wow, that could be me.
Yeah.
I looked at it and said, thank God this is only on once a year that I have to feel like I don't look like that. If that makes sense.
Lisa, talk about what I know you're answering that. Well, talk about a flash moment. The moment that I realized that there were more people that weren't perfect than the handful that were, and even then I found out that the ones that I thought were perfect weren't so perfect after all. But the moment I realized there was more of us than of them, the perfect people, the moment I realized that there were more people that were a little uncomfortable in their own skin, it changed my whole being. And that's when I really got active on the internet and making videos and stuff, because people were responding to me. I thought I had to have, like Beyonce, I had to have a fan blowing my hair up when I talked, I thought I had to be like that, and clearly I didn't. And
I'm not saying there's not a place for that. I just haven't really found it yet. But anyway, I'm reading some of these questions, and I want to answer them quickly, but I'm also learning from your questions what we're going to do a series of things on. So I want you guys to ponder this while we answer some more of these questions. What if Curtis, Diane and I'll pull Curtis in for his piece, and we did, some sort of a series of things, a course, if you will, and we covered storytelling, critical thinking, how to talk to people conversationally to avoid some of the things I'm hearing about, how to build internationally, I suppose, and effective communication. We could have Curtis do some stuff with effective communication and in the speaking tone, and you can do it in the writing tone, and I can be the example of how you can be better at those things. Not how I'm better, how you can still do this on your way to getting better. Other countries, that's a simple one. I built into the markets in my home country to have a bridge to foreign countries. Today, I can actively recruit people in other countries because I've been all over the world and I've been doing it a long time, so I actually have my own relationships there. But initially, I built into the Chinese market in Southern California. North America is a tremendous melting pot. So is Australia. So is everywhere today, really. And I built into that community here because they all spoke the language, our English, as well as the language back home, and had relatives and relationships that went back, to those countries, because you don't want to be a conquistador. And I don't actually ever go out with the intent to recruit somebody. I go out with the intent to prospect, get to know somebody, see what they're about, be very interested in them, see where they're at, see if they're happy, offer them a plan that maybe can help. We're solution solvers. So I'm really very much a relationship marketer. I've always been, and I think Diana is as well, which is, why we resonate so well with one another.
I want you guys to hear what she just said. She doesn't go out with the intent to recruit someone. She goes out and builds a relationship, and then if it blossoms into something and it looks like this would be a good partner, then she can show them an opportunity. But she doesn't go out. A lot of people are especially newer people, they're just out like, would you be good for my business? Would you like to join my business? Would you like to join my business? Would you like to join my business? So the rejection.
When I started, I was going up to people telling me, you need to join my business.
Yes.
Because everybody loves to be told what to do.
Yes.
So that was so effective for me.
So the rejection is profound. But when you're out, and this is what I do on the internet, it's the same thing. People are always like, you know everybody, you meet everybody. I haven't tried to recruit very many people, yet I've prospected tens of thousands, and my prospecting is looking to see whether they might be a match, whether what I have might be good for them. So many people have never had me even show them things, and people are always like, well, what do you do? What are you into? What do you they don't even know, and it's because I haven't approached them about business for one reason or another. So it's powerful stuff.
It's really funny when you're terribly interested in other people and you're asking lots of questions and you're getting to really know about them. If you're listening, it never really is about recruiting. It's, I have 3 questions. I train on it all the time, and they're not questions. Let me give the disclaimer that I do not suggest you start picking up a phone or your pen or your email typing fingers or Voxing or any of the other umpteen thousand ways you communicate today and start calling and firing these questions at people. But most people are not really happy with their lives. Now, they may not be in touch with that. It's very possible they're not in tune with that. We all get caught up in survival or get caught up in doing what we're doing. And Diane and I have had this experience recently in the last year. And you wake up and you're involved in something that you're reasonably pretty good at, and you're kind of like, you don't even know how you got there. You just kind of started, and you realize, this is not satisfying to me. So you really want to go out and talk to people and find out about them. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to ask them, are you happy? And Diane, it's not like, are you happy? Like, does somebody buy you balloons and ice cream today? It's, are you satisfied? Is the road you're on going to get you where you want to go if nothing changes? Is your life the life you envisioned? Are you where you thought you'd be? If time and money weren't an issue, how would you be spending your days, and how does that contrast from the way your days are? And again, this is not an interview list of questions. It's the general theme of where you're going.
Let me stop you there for 1 second, Lisa, because I want you to hear that, because a lot of times people will write down these questions, and then they'll meet someone, and they'll go, are you happy? Are you on the road to success? If time and money, guys, she's giving you the umbrella of the theme of the conversation.
Yes, the theme. And I
understand that.
Strongly want you to understand that, because it's about a conversation. If you called me and said, my sister's really upset, and I said, well, what should I do? And I'm like, well, be there, ask if she's okay, ask if you can do anything. I'm talking about a way to be. I'm not saying you should call up your sister and start firing a list of questions at her. And it's the same thing. It's a theme.
What can I do for you? How can I help you? It's weird.
If time and money were not an object, and if what's that one? If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride, or something.
You always say that. I'm like, I don't get that. Like, wishes were horses.
So anyway, yes, Lisa knows Voxing, but only because I'm overseas so much. And I particularly know how to forget that it's there and not answer them for months at a time, not even knowing anything boxed. But it's an overall theme, and what you really want to do is eventually people are going to, and I never, unless somebody tells me that money is an issue, I never ask people, do you want to make more money? It's always, are you happy? Because so many people that come to entrepreneurship come not because they're not making money, it's because they feel they're sacrificing everything for the money to the point that they have no life. So money is not, and that's what happened to me, that's what attracted me to this space. And so and eventually, Diane, the truth comes out. And here's what I've learned about people, particularly in North America. There's something about North America in our vernacular. Mm-hmm. If people are really doing great or awesome, They'll tell you, I'm awesome, things are wonderful, and it won't be just a word. You'll hear it in their voice.
Yep.
Anything else is going on, this is the answer you'll get across the board. How are you? Fine.
I'm good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Fine. I'm good.
Fine. And people are not fine. Let me tell you what I think fine is an acronym for. Fine, particularly in the United States today, means effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. So when people tell you they're fine, that's what they're really saying. Effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Fine. So keep asking questions. Eventually the facade will drop and people's frustrations will come forward, and you'll hear that they're not so fine. They're not so fine. The next thing you want to find out, and again it's a theme, is, okay, do you have a plan? I mean, a lot of times, well, what do you mean, do I have a plan? Well, you've said you're not happy. You've said the road you're on is not the right road. Do you have a plan to change that? And by the way, folks, you're not asking people if they have a plan because you want to know if they have a plan. If they had a plan, they wouldn't be talking to you. They'd be out working their plan to be happy. You're asking the question, or you're writing in such a way that you're taking them through a process, telling them a story, helping them take an emotional road with you that gets them to the point that they're like, wait a minute. I'm not satisfied and I have no plan. You would be surprised how many days in life people can go through without realizing that they're really not happy and they have no plan. Insurance companies make millions by calling people on the phone and pointing out to them, you're going to not be here one day and you have no plan for it.
I call that, guys, the pivot question, the pivot moment. It's the moment when you get the person to reflect and come to admission that they're in trouble. That's the moment that they open up like a flower to hear what you have. If you try to get them to hear about what you have before you open them up, are you laughing at me or them? Am I making like
somebody said I'm never telling anyone I'm fine anymore?
Yeah, I know, right? I can't blame them because it's good, you know. So if you try to go in before you have them open up, you're going to meet with, you know, resistance or awkwardness.
Or you're going to meet the game face.
Yep.
The I'm fine, my life is fine, I'm okay, nothing's wrong with me face.
Yep.
And now so most people are going to come to the fact that they aren't satisfied, they don't have a plan. And the next question is very simple. Would you like to see one? Would you like to see one? And here's where it goes off the rails for a lot of people. When I say this, they think I'm crazy, but what I'm about to tell you next is really the secret to relationshiping. It's probably not for you. Would you like to see one? It's probably not for you. Although I'm sure you're going to love the products, almost everybody does, but the business is probably not for you. But if you see something there, I think together we could do something special. If you see, you know, if it's not the plan for you, you'll find the next one, but at least you're on the road to looking because you deserve the best in life. You're now on the plan finding road instead of the I'm unhappy but I have no plan sitting still in your house thinking it's going to change road. And the reason we say it's probably not for everyone and we give them that is because guess what? It's probably not for them.
No.
Whatever it is you do, it probably isn't for 80% of the people that you're talking to, although the products are going to serve them well if you're marketing good products. And that's okay, and that's the way it is. And this brings us full circle where we started, Diane, about managing the way people think.
Yep.
I mean, Diane, do you go to doctors?
So let me say one thing about what you just said. That it's probably not for you. I call that the escape hatch. Okay, I use that in all my marketing, whether it's in like on a capture page. If you're trying to force the opt-in, I'll often give them little links on the bottom that they can click in case they're not ready to commit and give me their name and email. So the same thing here. If you tell them that there's an escape hatch because it's probably not for you, it makes them feel much more safer and in control. And a prospect that feels like it's in control is a prospect that will sit for a presentation. So the pivot point and the escape hatch are two very important parts of prospecting and having conversations with people about your opportunity. Does that make sense, Lisa? I just like those terms. I think it helps people remember.
Because it's an anchor. You know, whenever you give something a title or you wrap it in a bow, then people can always connect it to what you said and they can recall the conversation. So I love that. And it's something that Diane is so wonderful at and I'm working on. And I like the fact that I pivot and I offer an escape. It sounds very...
Well, but you do everything very classical. I just because I'm such a marketing student,
No,
I
but you're right.
just studied these, so I had to give them names because you would start to see them in different genres of marketing. They're all the same concept.
And stop right there, because, folks, that is a nugget. Let me tell you something that there's only actually really two things that marketers are all very good at, but some, of which Diane is one and they are rare, have a unique ability to view something, process it, and pull things out of it that can be totally adapted to completely different situations. And most people look at it and say, well, how did you get from there to here? And all marketing is the same because it all involves the two crucial components just to life. It's all for people.
Yep.
It's all for people.
Yep.
And that's what people, and that's why the perfect ad always cracks me up, because the ad that promises perfection will get a sale but never a repeat customer, because if they sold perfect in a bottle, believe me, I bought so many I'd have found it by now. I bought everything. There's no bottle with immortality. There's no bottle with a magic bullet that's going to take off my 20 pounds in a week without me having to do anything. And there's no perfect. But if you find it out there, I will make sure to give you my email address, my phone number, if I want some. If somebody finds it, Fountain of Youth, I'm here. The reason we tell people it's probably not for them is because it isn't.
Yep.
And when you're out dealing with people, you need to align with human nature, not try to change it.
Write that down, guys. Align with human nature. Don't try to change it. That's wisdom.
Because you won't. And, most people, we all go to doctors, most of us, and yet most of us don't go to medical school. And nobody has a problem with that, because we all eat in restaurants, and the majority of people that you meet will not be restaurant owners, and nobody has a problem with that. And the majority of people that you meet don't work in construction, but we're all sitting in buildings that were built by people that are involved in the construction industry, and no one has a problem with that. And if you wonder sometimes why you're having challenges with people, is it possibly because either you yourself or because you interpreted the way you heard something are setting expectations that are unrealistic? Because if it's okay that everybody doesn't go to medical school, why isn't it okay if everybody doesn't do network marketing or internet marketing or direct selling or home-based business? Because only on a perfect day, Diane, do you know that on a perfect day, if you give the perfect presentation to the perfect people, only about 20% of the people that ever see a business presentation in a home-based environment are going to say yes.
Yeah.
The other 80%, though, will still buy the products. And imagine, if McDonald's only sold hamburgers to the people that were really excited about opening up a McDonald's franchise.
That would be weird, wouldn't it?
It would be very weird.
Kind of weird.
So I think that sometimes you have to step out of the space you're in, because it is different, but it's not. At the root of the business may be done differently. All businesses are done differently. A house painter's mechanics are different than a guy who builds the pool, and different again from the person who comes in and picks out the wallpaper. But they all follow a basic business principles. And if you take a step back and you look at it that way and you start asking the questions, well, am I thinking about this like a business? Do businesses really get upset with people who, don't? Does Coca-Cola really? Do they sit in a meeting in a building in Coca-Cola somewhere, plotting for the demise and being angry at everybody who buys Sprite or Pepsi?
Well, I always say, Lisa, when you go out to a restaurant and the waitress said, would you like to see the dessert menu? And you say, oh, no. She doesn't go in the back kitchen and cry. She's not like, they wouldn't look at my dessert menu. It's business doesn't, at the mall, they don't freak out if you walk in, look around, and walk out. It's normal part of business.
But here's the thing, that business people, because it's not a numbers, people are not numbers, but it is a numbers game. And it's not a traditional business in many ways, but it is a business. People that are in business, not people that are out there to make a buck, people that are in business understand that the most valuable thing they have is not the product that they sell, although having a hot product is great. And it's not the compensation plan of how much money they make, because I've seen people have a product that caught on and make very small margins but sell 1 million of them.
Yeah.
You know, so what if you only made $1 on something but you had a way to sell 1 million of them? It's still $1 million. What they understand is the most important thing is every person who walks in, whether they buy or don't buy, whether today is the day or today isn't the day, how do they feel about the experience?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we patronize things and we gravitate toward things that make us feel better about ourselves and make us feel good about this, that made us feel good when we were involved. And we run from things that make us feel the opposite. So maybe your family thinks you're crazy if you're in network marketing. I've heard it 1 million times. Or maybe the way that you approached your family, you looked crazy. Is that a possibility? Let's reframe it. Imagine this, Diane. You're my Auntie Diane. I just went to a meeting, folks. I'm brand new. It was compelling. It was exciting. I really don't know what it was about, but a really good-looking guy in a nice suit at the front of the meeting drew all these circles and all these numbers, and they had this product, and I don't remember. It was kind of like a weight loss thing, and everybody wants to lose weight, right? And so, of course, I jumped in, and now I'm going to call my Auntie Diane because, you know, I want to be, she's smart, and she could get everybody, and she could really make me money in this thing, and she, you know, that's what I'm looking for. And I call up Auntie Diane. Auntie Diane, I just went to a meeting. Oh, my God. Somebody that I didn't know stood at the front of the room, drew circles, and a lot of people got up on stage, and I really didn't understand any of it, but they were making money everywhere, and it was only $1,000, and I got a bunch of the stuff for my $1,000. That doesn't matter anyway, because what I really need to do is I need to go get a bunch of people to get in business with me, and I wanted you to be the first one. Do you have $1,000?
Yeah, sign me up, please.
Now, do you think it's possible that maybe I sounded a little bit crazy? Is this typically what you would think that somebody who just started a business would behave? You know, usually they'll call up with their friends and their friends and say, you know, Auntie Diane, I just started a business. I would so love it. You know, if you would help me out and buy my products and try them, and if you like them, be my customer and help me with my marketing. And if you think that maybe you know some other people that might like my products or be interested in working with me, because I am looking for people to work with, that'd be so awesome. Could you do that for me? Now, they may not still think my choice was crazy, but they're not going to think I'm crazy. But in the first scenario, don't you think I looked a little bit crazy?
Do you know that we were so crazy when we started at a faculty meeting? Larry works in the school. The principal made fun of him in front of the whole faculty and called him Mr. XYZ Company. He called him Mr. Blank Company, in front of the whole faculty, because we were zealots. I mean, I'm here to admit it. So a lot of people, like, they get all upset with people, especially on the internet, when people are like trying to get you. But I was that person. So I think anybody
once upon a time.
So, well, no, there's a whole bunch of people that join and never do anything.
No, so if anybody goes to work, they definitely start out in the I'm going to get you. I'm going to get so and so, which really begs the question, Diane. Don't you just love the idea of people getting up every day thinking about how they're going to get you? Isn't that what you're dying to sign up?
That's what my person who taught me an awful lot, he always used to say, everybody wants to know how to get people. He goes, how to get them. Let's go get them. And he used to make fun of it, and it's like, you don't get people, you attract people, which leads to, Suzanne asked, what caused me to change my focus from my MLM to attraction marketing as my business? I didn't change my focus. The only thing that I did was I understood that going towards people, I call it human physics, guys. If you go towards a person and you get too close to them, you get in their space, what are they going to do? They're going to move back because it feels uncomfortable. Like if I'm out, I'm a guy and I'm trying to pick up chicks, and I go out to the bar and I get too close to a woman, she's going to find any way she can to move away from me. This is human nature. Remember, Lisa said you have to work with human nature. So I realized that if I could get people to come towards me, they'd feel comfortable and they'd come right up and, figuratively sit on my lap, and I can tell them a story. So I didn't leave my network marketing company or any of that stuff. I didn't change. What I did was I started to work with human nature instead of against it. And that's all that I teach to this day. I don't teach forget about, 50 years of wisdom about how to do network marketing. I just teach people how to just kind of turn the table slightly. That's all.
And reframe and think about it differently. What's the difference between a prospecting conversation and a recruiting conversation? To me, conversation is conversation, and let it go where it goes. I've never really thought about it, but I guess if I had to say a difference, I just talk to people whether I know them or not with the intent of having a conversation. Now, the conversation's going well and I'm enjoying them, and I think based on what I've heard them say that, I'll always, mention them when I'm doing, of course. I'll ask them questions. I think that's the key. Every time I ask questions, I think the very best marketers, network marketing or otherwise, really only do two things. They ask questions and they tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
And in between, they listen. They ask questions and they listen. They then try to match that person's experience with the story that they think will best illustrate the point. They listen to people when they talk so they can collect more stories. They listen to people so that they can better fine-tune their questions. And that's really all it is. And I love people. Diane loves people. And I don't care what they're doing if they're happy. My goal is not to get somebody in my business. It's to get everybody to realize that they have the right to have a fantastic life, and it's out there waiting for them, and they shouldn't let what other people are thinking about the way they live now stop them. Because let me tell you a secret. All of you people that think that they're holding yourselves back because you're afraid of failing, the people you're afraid of failing in front of, the people that you think would ridicule you or whatever, are not the people whose opinions you should care about, because they're talking about you just as much doing nothing. They're making fun of you if you're doing nothing. They're making fun of you if you're trying. And they're really making fun of you if you succeed, because then you're just lucky. And I'm not here to tell you not to care what other people should think. I think anybody who says, I don't care what anybody thinks, is lying. Of course we all care what people think. That's not the question. The question is, whom do you care what they think? I have incredible mentors. I care what Diane thinks. She's multi-talented, so if she gives me wisdom or information or feedback, then I know that that's something I should listen to. It'll help make me better, and it's done with the greatest of intent. But the person who's not even trying, who wants to ridicule somebody else for trying, who cares what they think? Because if you let what everybody thinks bother you, then your future is going to be being stuck in a room with everybody like that, and you'll just be one of the people making fun of other people who are out there making a difference. So with people that think you're crazy, tell them, ain't it wonderful?
Yep. And they come around, guys, when you start to see yourself differently, when you carry yourself with a little bit more posture and a little bit more confidence. People, I always say people are programmed. It sounds mean, but it's true. Little kids do it, adults do it. We're programmed to look for people's weaknesses and poke at them. So if you're screaming, I'm weak, not verbally, but in so many ways, they're going to poke at you. When you work on yourself and do that personal development, that's why, part of the mentorship letters. When you start to, I call it hitting the wall of your self-image. When you struggle, you've hit the wall of your self-image. So instead of sitting and going like this, or most people what they do is they try to buy more stuff or the answer is to expand your self-image, right? And then you're not going to hit that wall anymore. That stuff, and it happens to all of us, Lisa and myself included. We freak out sometimes when we have to get up and speak. We freak out when we have to do a webinar. We freak out when we have to put together, for us it's slides, right? Lisa and I are like, oh my God, I have to do slides. We can run our mouths all day. In fact, I call this the running of the mouths tonight, like the running of the horses in Pamplona and of the bulls in Pamplona.
I want to know who PowerPoint paid off in the world. Everybody to think that was the way to go.
I agree, because now they all give me the overhead projector days with a couple of little things, or the Elmo where you'd write with a pen.
Them. If something went off a different way, you could pull out a slide or rearrange the slides on the fly. I can't stand them.
Yeah. I hate them.
All of this, Diane, and I'm getting such a good feel for when we get structured and we go out and do some very, structured or topically pointed things. as to where we go, because really everybody's kind of saying the same thing, aren't they? In a different.
Yeah.
I have one though. What should you be working on to allow for market changes that will occur in the next 5 years? You.
Yep.
You, your relationships with people, your ability to connect and communicate with people, your ability to take people on a journey, and your imagination, your viewpoint. But technology and all the rest of it will always change. Yep. But your skills, your abilities, your talents is your insurance policy against any change.
And studying how people think, because human nature never changes. Never ever changes. I mean, we've been doing this for years and nothing's really changed. Mm-hmm. Has it changed on your side, Lisa? I mean, Anne, let me interview you on this. Is human nature different on the other side of the world when you travel?
Oh, no. They just do it in a different language with a lot more emotion.
Yeah. So why are you dancing? What are you doing there?
I have my leg is cramping up, and
you're
nodding to her, and I want to writhe in pain, so I'm trying to keep my smiley face while I work out my leg cramp.
I thought you were kind of like we're having a dance party, man. Hey, guys.
Next time I'm going to break into dance to cover up my leg cramp, so that's something else.
Turn on a tune. Guys, Lisa has another webinar coming up shortly, so I want you guys now for the next 60 seconds, rapid fire, I want you to go in the Q&A, and I want you to write, it could be 1 word, 2 words, a sentence, write topics that you want to hear more about, because we are cutting a lot of training. We're putting something very special together, which I'm not at liberty to talk about, something that I know all of you are going to find to be very valuable. And tonight it was about hanging out, and it's about getting some input for you guys. So go ahead, rapid fire, write, 1 word, 2 words, a sentence about what you would like more information about so we can bring it to you. We're looking for the common denominator about what people have on their consciousness about what they want to learn. So let me give you guys a second to do that. Put it in the Q&A, not in the chat. The Q&A. And if you don't know where that is, just hit the little question mark, and that'll bring up the Q&A, and you can go ahead and do that. And we'll close out a little bit, Lisa, as they're doing that, so we can take a list of those.
Yes, I want those. And also, we're thinking, and I really appreciate you all coming here tonight and helping us so much. And there will be goodies in your future, because Diane actually has the attendance list for those that gave up their time to be part of this. But Diane and I are thinking of doing a lot of interesting stuff and inviting everybody along, and that's why we want to know stuff that you'd be particularly interested in. But if we kind of let you come hang out with us, I don't know, like once a month, is that something you guys would want to do? So let us know that as well.
Okay, and guys, make sure you put the things that you want not in the chat, but in the Q&A. In the Q&A, because I see a couple people over here, and because it's easier for me afterwards. Just put up Lisa's Facebook fan page again. Make sure you connect with Lisa. She puts up tons of inspiring stuff. Hopefully, sooner or later, I'll get her to post some things about where she's going and what she's doing as far as training and different things.
I will. Oh, good. Diane, we were on the right track. Communication, storytelling, building internationally. I wouldn't have guessed that one, but we can do some things on international building for sure.
Good.
Daily routines, reframing ways of thinking, self-awareness, self-confidence, storytelling, closing the deal. Oh, boy. Closing the deal. We're going to have to talk about that one. Okay, posture. Good stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I find most encouraging about this? For me? There's not one person up there that has to learn how to work Aweber or a capture page.
Which is good.
I feel like there's hope.
That would not be our expertise. We could definitely refer you to those that can help you with that.
And I will lead the cheerleading section. I will be so busy taking the notes and being your secretary. I won't have time to actually do the stuff with everybody else, you understand, because I'll be the notes.
You guys understand, I've been to Dallas three or four times already to try to sit her down to get her to do this. And every time Greek foods or Chinese foods or something me out of it. We're just ready to do it, and she's like, let's order in. And the next thing you know, we're down in the kitchen noshing. So she gets me every time, every single time.
Team building video. Between the two of us, we've got all that covered. Oh, it's fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome. Community. Tina just said team building, community. Lisa is a community ninja. We like to use that word on the internet. Lisa, she's like hopping around. Are you okay, honey?
I'm trying to work out this cramp.
Are you okay?
As long as I keep moving it, it's going to
No,
go.
keep moving them. We like watching you run back and forth. We're going to let you go.
I found that if I move it, it'll stop.
Yeah.
And I thought I got it to the side, but the minute I sat back down, I hadn't moved it enough, so I apologize.
No, I do that. I get them at night, and then I have to get out of bed and do a little dance. And Larry's like, "What's wrong?" I got a cramp. Go back to bed. So, community. There's nobody that can build and sustain communities like Lisa Grossman. And that is one of the things that I think is very lost today. A lot of people can't understand why they have turnover and why they struggle with that type of stuff. It's because of the magic of community. So if you guys don't pick her brain on that in the future, you're really, really, really kooky.
I've done so many trainings on it recently because that's what a lot of people ring me to speak about. I will actually get up here soon with you, Diane, and we will do a whole hangout devoted to community, because community is the way that you future-proof whatever you're doing against commoditization. And make no mistake, if you make it about your product, if you make it about your compensation plan, if you make it about anything, it has a date stamp and a lifespan and an expiration date.
Next, guys, when you leave, I'm going to send you over to the link to register for next Wednesday. That's a lot of what I'm going to be discussing.
Oh,
you know, so many times. What?
No, I said you have to be there. I'm very excited about this project of yours, Diane. I know I'm not allowed to say anything other than you have to be there next Wednesday, and you do have to be there next Wednesday, but let me say this. I had a conversation with Mr. You-know-who yesterday.
Mr. Yeah.
And I did. And I will tell you that this is a person who knows material and knows what is taught by the very, very best, and everybody's very good, and everybody has their specialty, and he, too, told me that this is something that is so high level and never been done before, never been put out in a way like it's going to be put out next, not next week. Next week you're going to find out what it is. And I can't say this enough, and I know this embarrasses you, Diane, and I know that that everybody knows that she and I are friends, so you wonder if I mean what I say, but as you get to know me, you'll realize that I always only say what I think. Sometimes it gets me into some trouble. Here's the thing. Whenever something comes out the first time, you can wait for the second or third or fourth time if it comes back, and it might be a little bit more codified, and it might be a little bit more polished. But what you lose by not being there first is the enthusiasm of the creator when they're getting to take it out public for the first time, and the dedication and commitment they have to it. I would not miss it. I'm going to be traveling the world while all this is going on, and I will be getting up at 3, 4, and 5 o'clock in the morning just to be there live, even though it's recorded, because you only have one chance to be there at the beginning of a shift.
Right, there's only one first, and I learned that a long time ago. I was taught that many, 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 many years ago. When a new event, when a new this, there's only one first. And in this particular case, like we said tonight, Lisa wrote some beautiful copy on Facebook to promote this event, and I said it as well. Yeah, there's probably a recording of this going to be on my YouTube channel, right? It's probably going to be over there, but you wouldn't have had the interaction opportunity. So yeah, there'll probably be a recording of what we talk about, but it will not be the same. And the first time, Lisa, I doubt I'll ever do this course and this information that I'm offering Wednesday night. I doubt I'll ever do it again in the same way. We'll just kind of package up a recording and let it go down in history. But doing it again, I don't foresee it. I don't foresee it in the same way, in the same medium. So, very cool.
I would have to agree. I didn't really want to come out and say that, but I think that what happens, because I don't think that you'll never do it again. I think here's what's going to happen. This is my prediction, and I want everybody to come back here a year from today and see which one of us was right. Diana's taking out stuff that she's worked on forever in an affordable, smaller, a lot of people, but smaller type of intimate thing to launch it upon a group. And I don't believe that people that are, I think where it goes next will be people that are at a much more advanced state in their business. I think it's going to get very pricey. I think it's going to get very difficult to get into. I just see it.
Well, what's exciting too, Lisa,
I see it now when you're at Harvard teaching it. When you're speaking at Harvard about it.
There you go.
On a live
Life's
stage,
work.
when
This
you're over
really,
in Europe being translated into Italian, doing it live in Rome. But the opportunity of Diane in your living room over this much time, with this much time devoted to it, and this much detail to the different components, probably not. But when she speaks at Harvard, or she's speaking in, if you speak Italian, and she's in Rome doing the lecture,
io parlo italiano.
or you could call your big team that you then have in Italy and say, you know what, I saw this when it came out in the very extended version, and you won't get that, but you should at least go over to the Plaza di la Fantastico and listen to her speak. So your choice, always.
Wednesday night is free. It's open to the public, and I'm going to unleash some. I sound so hypey. I have some really special stuff. And then some people might choose they want to study some more. But no matter what, the value on Wednesday night, it's never been done before. It hasn't been heard in this space, and it is my, I've been studying this for 14 years. The first year I didn't know, and I just ran around and littered my town with flyers. But about a year in, I started decoding this, and it really and truly has been the secret to, the success that I've had. I'm very, very thankful and grateful for having kind of picked this apart. So,
can I say one thing about you without you blushing?
I might.
Okay. I just want y'all to think about this, because this. We talked about time compression a little bit. We talked about a lot of things a little bit. But here's what I can tell you. You will meet a lot of people that are able to achieve great levels of success in what they do, and Diane is one of them, and we applaud that. A much smaller percentage of those people have the ability to go out and transfer their knowledge and engage other people to the point that they can learn to do it as well. And that's what I always, look for. It's not what people that don't know how to do it yet, it's not the person they go to learn from. Look for the people that are having great success go to learn from. And if you look at how her peers feel about what she teaches, you'll understand that that's why she's so good. It's not what she's able to do, it's what she's able to help others to do. And I'm going to be on an airplane next Wednesday, which makes me, while this is going on, which has me flippin' furious, but I can probably get a copy of the recording and have to deal with the fact that I wasn't able to be there live. Be there live. There's nothing like live. You've seen it tonight, the way you've all been able to interact with each other and us. Be there live. So, I don't know, Diane. Trips, products, Diane, myself, my partner, Curtis Broom. If you're not familiar with him, you'll become familiar with him. We're going to be doing some very exciting masterminds and live settings.
Yes.
In the next 12 months, actually probably sooner. We're going to be in Austin, Texas together. We're going to be in
Las Vegas together. We're going to be in Florida together, probably beginning of the year.
We're going to be in Europe together. It looks like we're going to be on a cruise together, where Diana's teaching video marketing and I'm carrying her suitcases. And
not so much, guys.
Oh yeah, it is. And I would carry.
I'll be teaching video marketing, but I don't know about the
things that are coming up. And I'm going to say this publicly because it's actually going to happen sometime in the something. I am actually going to have a newsletter. I'm actually working on it. Diane has convinced me. It only took her 2 years, but she has convinced me. And by the way, when I say only took years, somebody else, it would have taken them 5 if I would have listened at all. So I'm going to have a newsletter, and we're going to start doing exciting things, and we'll tell you to get in touch with that. And I don't know, life is good, folks. If you're not where you want to be yet, nobody is. Just take great faith in the fact and that you're not where you started, because you're further ahead. You're on the road to where you need to be, and we're here to help and support you in any way that we can.
There you go. Guys, everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight. Is this woman not amazing, not incredible? And you know why I adore her so, so, so much. And, for those of you that I'm meeting for the first time, it's a total pleasure. Feel free to track me down. It's very easy to find me because everything's Diane Hochman. So it's facebook.com/Diane Hochman, DianeHochman.com. So it's always easy to find me. I've given you Lisa's link on Facebook. Easy to find her over there. And then as far as her
You're
newsletter,
so nice, Diane.
what?
They're saying such nice, wonderful things
Of course
about us.
they
We
are.
love you too.
And do you know why Lisa will have a newsletter? Because Lisa loves you all too much not to communicate with you on a regular basis. So that's why she will. Because she loves all of you and loves people so much. Her communication may be click here to watch a hangout, but she's going to send them out and make sure you all know where to track her down. So thank you for everybody. Keep in touch with us and make sure you let us know the things that you want, because we have access. Aside from ourselves, we have access to pretty much every top-notch, world-class person in this industry between the two of us. So if you're looking to learn something, if we can't bring it to the table for you, we'll refer you and let you know where to go to get exactly what you need. We'd like to be, your go-to people for all of these things. So, and on that note, Lisa, I'm going to make you go because you have to take a break.
Seriously, what Diane says is the truth. If I can be of service, please reach out wherever I'm in the world. I read my Facebook messages, and whatever. So I've got to jump. I can't thank you enough for being here. Diane, as always, thanks so much. You're fabulous. I learned so much. I wrote it down. Pivot and escape hatch, and I love it, and I can't wait to learn more. Good night, everybody.
Love you, Lise. Thanks so much. Good night, everybody. Send you guys over. Hang on. I'm sending you over to register for next Wednesday, and I'm going to turn this sucker off. Everybody have a great night. Love ya.
Love you.